Hey guys, Alex, Jason here today. We are again shooting on Monday night because apparently this is our filming schedule now. We're not smart enough to do this on Fridays and Saturdays anymore. So you can see we got some open mat going on either side of us. Yeah, so you're just going to have to excuse some of the noise. We apologize. So, what we did last week was De La Riva work. We did the week before, we spent a lot of time in X-Guard building some sensitivity to movement, working the base. De La Riva builds on that. And the technique we're going to kind of recap tonight is a rollover sweep from De La Riva because we really want to kind of highlight some of the similarities between the X-Guard, the De La Riva, and the momentum generation, the momentum control that you can use from either open guard position. So we're going to do a little bit of a movement into the De La Riva in this sweep. And if you take a look back to last week's video, you can compare and contrast, and you can see a lot of the similar fundamentals that go into making these sweeps work and the follow-up control that builds off of them. So, we're going to go ahead and set the De La Riva guard. No matter where I'm setting this from, and I guess we'll just start from a very common kind of generic open guard position. He's broken guard, I have open guard. I would always rather open guard than have my guard broke. But we've come to this position and I'm on the hips. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and control at least the gi sleeve. If I can get both gi sleeves, this is awesome. Works good for a lot of anterior sweeps or forward sweeps. I can also go 2-on-1, works good for push-pull control. None of these are bad, it's just a matter of how you like to play this. Or I can transition over and work heel control and cuff control. This is really good for isolating one side of the body, but I leave the other side open. Again, depending on what you're going to do with this, any one of these is perfectly functional. But let's talk about getting to the De La Riva to start with. A lot of times, new people playing open guards screw this De La Riva up by trying to wrap the leg, the active leg, while they're still straight up with their partner. This puts a lot of pressure on the knee, and I lose a lot of that control that we're going to see later for me to be able to control his center line, get behind his center line, and make attacks to his back. So I can't just lock this on from here. What I'm going to do is work from my positional control. I'm going to disengage a foot, and I'm actually going to swing this foot, and I'm going to let that momentum carry me to his flank. Now that I'm on his flank, a lot of times I'll let go of this hand, the far hand, go 2-on-1, or now I'll go heel and cuff. I like my hips right on his foot. This bisects his body and lets me work back or forward as I need to. So, while we're building similarities with the X-Guard from last week, let's look at what happens when my foot on the far side, I go to the hip, I slide to the knee, and I start to extend him to break up his base. This is a really good position. He becomes vulnerable. What happens a lot of times is partners push forward because they want, man, now they don't feel good, they want to base out. This is feeding that same momentum control that you use for the X-Guard. So as your partner pushes in, I'm going to gain control. I like to go immediately to the collar because it's a nice control. I'm going to use my active De La Riva hook, just like our butterfly guard. Very active, laces up. And I'm pulling him in, and I'm pulling my knees directly to my chest. As he goes over, I follow the momentum. So if we look at the controlling component of this, as I pull my weight forward, or his weight forward, I pull my knees to my chest. Now and only now do I try and lift. If I don't get this momentum control, and now I try and lift, I'm never going to get him up. I have to break this momentum forward, get his hips over mine. Now as I extend my legs and back roll, I can just let that momentum carry me around, and I'm ready to work. So, very similar in aspect to the X-Guard, just some slight variations, but you can start to see how these are not mystical positions for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These are just a way to control momentum, isolate limbs in a different way, and just start to build some sensitivity to where his base is and attack it where it's weak. So, there's our week in a nutshell, working the De La Riva guard. Nice back roll sweep, mimicking the X-Guard. Jason, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next week.